for life. They didn't come here. They are who they are, and you got to look at them and see who they are and help to nurture them, not who you want them to be. There are many people who are that's what makes the world such a wonderful place, you all, that there is diversity and there is variety. What do you think about this, Desi?
I don't know. It's just the light, dark, whatever. It's depending on the parent. If whoever they look like the most, kind of is where they sway towards. Like, he look just like John. He gonna be, and then they just automatically start treating him like that.
Unless, of course, Johnny was a crackhead.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, but that's negative and positive because you know what I mean. You got these baby mamas nowadays who look at their kids, and it's because they're not with the father anymore. They constantly treat the kid like the father. Or you get on my nerves. You look just like your father.
Yeah.
You walk just like him, or you talk just like him.
Well, it's a seed. Like, what? Okay, what did you expect, Mama?
Right.
Right.
I got a diaper.
Exactly.
I mean, it's still not the child's fault. You know what I mean?
It's not the child's fault at all, but look at the weight that the children have. You know, down there in Texas, you know, where we grew up, I always had a phobia because I was dark-skinned. And everybody else in the family had a lighter complexion. And so right today, I will very seldom wear blue jeans. Because I always felt like I had to dress better to make myself feel good and to be accepted. I had to have something that made me different. And I grew up with that attitude up until I was 18 years old, and I started hanging around with white people who was, so what's your dark complexion? We love you, man. You cool dude. And that was the thing that helped me, besides my family, my sister Lemitra. She didn't do it, but there were members of my family who did do it. You know what I mean? Who put me down because of it. So we get into this skin color thing, which is ridiculous, as you've said, as you've mentioned. Daisy, what you think about this foolishness?
It's just being passed on. Like, it's ridiculous, but it sounds normal a lot. Like when females say, guys, like if they dark skin, a dude that say, you cute for a dark skin chick. Like,
You're right. They sure will. They sure will say that.
And it sounds normal. I don't mess with them in dark skin chicks, but you look good for a dark skin girl. Like, what all dark skin girls are ugly? I mean, it's ugly light skinned people with bad hair. I mean,
But, you know, just being African has become a ugly thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it started off as racism, but now it's starting to be internal. So, you know what I mean? We have our own black people being racist against ourselves.
Right.
Right. And that's the worst thing in the world. Well, I think we got a caller. Let me see. Let's see who we got here. Inez, are you there, Inez?
Yes, I am, honey.
How are you today?
Fine, and you, baby?
Oh, I'm blessed. God is good. How y'all doing?
Wonderfully well, thank you. Wonderfully well.
Inez is a single mother with 2 beautiful children. She's at her kids' school every other day, taking care and stuff. Inez, you got a comment or a question for us today? We're happy you joined us.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that a child's personality starts from the time that they're born up until at least they're 12, 13 years old. And if we as parents don't give them encouragement from the onset, there's no hope.
No hope. That's right.
Wow.
No hope, and we don't want to lose that hope. So we have to give them all the encouragement we can to keep them going on, because a child can do anything they put their mind to if they choose to.
Especially if they got some direction and focus and consistency about it, they can do. You know, the Montessori schools contend that if they get your child by 3 years old, that you want a doctor, you want a lawyer, they can give you whatever you want. And and I can testify to that. My brother, his 3 children, all of his daughters finished college in 3 years. One magna cum laude. You know what I mean? They got their college degrees in 3 years, got great jobs. They all went to Montessori school. So if you focus in on those children, if you say, this is what we want to do, what do you want to do? You got to ask them what they want to do, though. You can't have them do what you want to do because they might end up hating you subconsciously because they ended up doing what you wanted to do instead of what they wanted to do.
Just give them positive reinforcement and back them all the way.
Back them all the way.
Best you can do.
Yes, thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome,
God bless you all.
You too.
That means a lot, man, because, you know, my father, he was into track and wrestling. He played football in school and all that stuff, too. But he always looked at us like, y'all tall and slim. Y'all should run track. And always made us run track. You know what I mean? And I wanted to play football so bad. And he was like, man, they going to break you in half. You're a $120 wet. You know what I mean? And I ended up getting pulled onto varsity in my 10th grade year in high school just because of how, you know what I mean, how I played, how hard I would go. You know what I mean? Couldn't nobody tell me I couldn't play this position. And I took a starter's position. I still hold city records with 30 sacks in one season. You know what I'm saying? And I was the smallest dude on the team all my years.
All your years.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it's always about your kids' ambition, and you want to motivate the positive things that they want to do with themselves. It's not always about what you want them to do.
Listen, this show, the main focus of this show is family, you all. Don't get it twisted. Don't let anybody tell y'all what Patrick Henderson and Meet the People are doing here. Me, Wayne, Desi, and Charles are trying to do here. We're trying to find ways to heal the family. We're looking for ways to stop the foolishness, you all. Well, we were talking about how a couple of weeks ago about how the peer pressure is ruining and costing us lives. Well, Desi, you were telling me about this gentleman you met the other day. He was saying he had lost one son.
Yeah, he had, I think he had 2 or 3 sons, and he said he had to eventually move to Pennsylvania to get his sons away from the atmosphere down here. He really cared about his sons. He didn't really just want to let them go under. His first son, I guess got caught up and, was killed. And he was like, I had to get my sons out of here, man. I couldn't keep them down here. Because it's so enticing. All the stuff that their friends and all the streets have to offer is more than what he has to give. He works. I think he's raising them on his own. But what he works as hard as he can to keep clothes on their back. But it's not enough for them because their friends is like, look what we doing out here in the streets. We out here getting money and
selling nickel bags.
Right. And eventually, in the long run, they don't understand that because they're so young and it's so fast. They don't understand how much their father care about them.
Y'all remember that lady, the Jamaican lady that called and talked about how she came when she first came here from Jamaica. She was working at Popeye's Chicken, and now she's a registered nurse.
Yes, I remember that.
And how she's lost her son to the streets of Baltimore. Listen, you all, those children. Now, I want to say this. Listen, if you don't treat that child, if that child is not special to you, he won't be special to himself or herself.
That's right.
If they're not special to you, if you don't love them, I'm not talking about giving them everything they want. I'm talking about knowing that their lives are precious. They are precious in your sight. That's one of the things that white people, that's a part of white privilege. They treat their children, they teach their children that you are an individual. But they treat them like they're members of the family, the most prized possession of the family. So when that kid grows up, people can't tell him anything. People can't treat him or her any kind of way. Because he knows he's somebody, and it's in his blood, and it's in his mind and his spirit to be that way. Sometimes, when we were children, Lamitra, you remember we go to the country, and they would feed the children last.
I remember that.
We would
the
be
men
hungry.
got to eat first.
The men got to eat first, and we'd be starving, dog.
That's
we'd
right.
be hungry and stuff,
That's
and
right.
they'd be to kill them chickens and stuff, and fry them chickens and stuff, and be hungry. And they would feed the young people last.
Y'all getting gristles and leftover skin.
The backs, mainly the back. But we didn't care because we didn't notice it then. But that meant we were being devalued. That they didn't care about us. Bringing up the next topic. Y'all, the number is 410-481-1400. 410-481-1400.
We as women have to stop. We have all these different daddies with babies with different daddies, and then we tend to love the baby that we love, the man that we love the most. That's who gets the best treatment. That's who gets all the attention. I see that quite a bit. A lot of times women have 3 or 4 different children by 3 or 4 different men. That man that they really love with, that's that kid that they, buy all the presents for, do all the things for, pay all the attention to. And a lot of other little kids get neglected. I see that a lot.
Well, it's a big opposite.
Right here in Dallas, I see that a lot.
It's a big thing dealing with opposites too, because I seen a lot of households where the parents, they was raised a certain way, or whatever. They were given a lot of things. They were spoiled when they was young, so they get older and they remain spoiled. They think that since they got a kid, everything is still all about them. When they forget the fact that they got kids too, right? Or they was brought up in an environment where they were provided for very well. Their parents, they didn't spoil them. They was disciplined well and everything. But when it's time for them to be parents, it's almost like they forget how they was brought up. They try to raise their kids in the new era time was really when the old school times was the real proper way to raise your child.
Well, check this out, y'all. Research has shown that when the husband and the wife really love each other, the kids should come second.
Nah, kids always come first, man.
No, the research is not showing that.
Really?
You know why?
It's not showing. Why do you think it is, Lamitra?
You know why? Because when the man and the woman love each other, everything else is just going to flow.
Or the love spreads.
Everything's going to flow with the children, with everything. She's going to respect that man. That man is going to love that woman. The kids are going to see it and they're going to feel it.
Yes.
They're going to know it.
Yes, yes.
And they're going to feel love.
Yes.
And it set the
And they
example in
are.
the household too.
It sets the example. It's they're monolithic. A team, there's no I in team. And it's like a coach. If the coach, his team ain't together, for
That's
the
right.
players are not going to be together. I once read an article, and this has been recently, where a lady, she writes articles and stuff, and she was in this meeting with all these mothers, all these housewives and stuff, and every day or once a week they would meet. And she said they were all frustrated, worrying about ripping and running, taking the kids. They're doing this, doing that, and just worried about the children, never mentioning their husbands. And she told them, she says, well, I'm sorry. I don't have those problems. She said, I have my husband. She said, I love my children, and I take care of my children, and my husband helps to take care of the children. But when he comes home,
He's first.
he is first. She said, I run his bath water, his dinner is ready, and if he needs some